The headphone jack is older than the light bulb, 1878, built for telephone switchboard operators, not music. It will survive the telegraph, the gramophone, the cassette, the compact disc, a Victorian-era plug that accidentally became the universal standard for how music enters your ears. In 2016, Apple will erase it with a single sentence on stage, but we are 36 years early. It is 1980. The king of this chart is Koss, a Milwaukee company that invented stereo headphones entirely by accident in 1958. Its founder plugged a military headset into a phonograph one afternoon, heard music in stereo for the first time, and dropped his dictation machine project on the spot. Look at that bar towering over everyone. Now watch what happens to it. Koss releases the Porta Pro, a folding headphone built on a single inside. Great sound should collapse into your pocket. The design is so well judged that Koss will still be selling it 40 years from now, essentially unchanged. But look at the chart. Sony has already climbed past Koss into first place, and it is not alone. Panasonic and JVC are storming up the ranks. The Japanese consumer electronics machine has engaged, and the American pioneers have no answer for the speed of its factories. The late 80s belonged to Japan. Sony, Panasonic, Pioneer, JVC, the companies that built the compact disc, now own the headphone market. Watch the American brands stall and slide. Now look at the bottom half of the chart. Two small European companies are climbing, methodically and without fanfare. Sennheiser, from a tiny town in northern Germany. AKG, out of Vienna. They are not competing on volume. They are competing on something the Japanese giants are not even trying to sell, the sound itself. Sony ships the MDR 7506, $100. Built like a tank. Its frequency response is so honest that 30 years from now, recording engineers will still reach for it when they need to know what a mix actually sounds like. This is the decade professional audio goes mass market. Studios standardize on Sony and AKG. Pioneer builds headphones for the DJ booth. And the headphone stops being just a thing you listen with. It becomes a thing you create with. That distinction will matter sooner than anyone in 1991 can imagine. Sennheiser launches the HD 600, $300, an offensive price for headphones in 1997. Audio engineers buy it anyway. Then regular people do. The HD 600 does not flatter the music. It tells the truth about the recording, and a growing audience discovers that truth is addictive. This is the birth of the high-end headphone hobby as a consumer category. Now look at Bose, climbing toward the top. A speaker company from Massachusetts is about to change what headphones are even for by making you hear less, not more. Bose releases the Quiet Comfort, active noise cancellation, invented for airplane cockpits in the 1950s, finally reaches the passenger cabin, and something fundamental flips. Every headphone before this moment was about bringing sound in. The Quiet Comfort is about keeping the world out. Business travelers pay $300 without hesitating. Airline cabins fill with Bose logos. Watch the chart. Within 2 years, Bose becomes the best-selling headphone brand on Earth. Sound quality just lost to silence, and silence is winning by a mile. Apple ships the iPod. The device itself is beautiful, 1,000 songs in your pocket. But the thing people actually see, on subways and sidewalks and billboards the size of buildings, is the white earbuds. Apple made a headphone visible, instantly recognizable across a room. Fashion. 100 million white earphones pour into the world, and the entire headphone industry realizes too late that it has been selling drivers and impedance curves while Apple sold identity. Beats by Dre goes on sale. Heavy bass, glossy plastic, a $300 price that makes audio engineers wince, and absolutely none of it matters. Because Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre have understood something the century-old audio industry never grasped. Headphones are not audio gear anymore. They are something you wear. LeBron James walks into the arena wearing them. Every teenager on Earth wants the red bee over their ears. The headphone has completed its transformation from utility to status symbol, and the chart is about to be demolished by a company that does not even build its own drivers. Beats captures 64% of the premium headphone market in America. Not the headphone market, the premium part. the part where the profit lives. Sony, Sennheiser, AKG, brands with half a century of engineering, are being outsold by a 5-year-old company built on bass boost and celebrity. But watch what happens next. Beats just peaked, and it does not know it. Nobody does, because 2 miles away in Cupertino, a team is designing something that will make 64% look like a rounding error. Apple buys Beats for $3 billion, the biggest headphone acquisition in history. Wall Street squints and asks why a computer company paid $3 billion for bass-heavy fashion. The answer is sitting 2 years in the future, in a white plastic charging case that has not been announced yet. The technology company that already owns music distribution, iTunes, the iPod, the smartphone in your pocket, now owns the biggest headphone brand too. The walls between hardware, software, and audio have collapsed, and nobody in the traditional audio industry has noticed the door closing behind them. September 2016, Apple removes the headphone jack from the iPhone 7, a port that survived 138 years, through the telephone, the radio, the Walkman, the compact disc. Deleted in a single keynote slide, the internet erupts. Dongle memes dominate Twitter. Samsung mocks Apple on stage. And then, 3 months later, Apple ships a pair of completely wireless earbuds called AirPods. The reviews call them ugly, overpriced, easy to lose. They will become the most successful audio product ever made, and they will change this chart more than the Walkman did. AirPods ship in December and sell out by Christmas. The first year is a phenomenon. The second year is a rout. Look at this chart. Apple AirPods enters from 0 and goes vertical, past Bose, past Sony, past every brand that spent decades building headphone businesses. By the third year, Apple sells more headphones than the next several brands combined. The little white stems are everywhere. The century of the cable is over, and the companies that bet their futures on wires are about to learn what irrelevance feels like. Sony refuses to die. At IFA Berlin, it unveils the WH-1000XM3, noise-canceling headphones that sample the sound around your ears 2,000 times a second and cancel it in real time. Reviewers test them against Bose, and for the first time in the history of the category, Bose loses. Sony, the company that started this chart in first place nearly 4 decades ago, is still here. It has survived Koss, survived Panasonic, survived Bose, survived Beats, and it is about to survive AirPods too. The pandemic hits, offices empty, schools close, and in 100 million homes, 2 things become essential: hearing your colleagues over Zoom and escaping into a video game. Gaming headset sales overtake traditional headphones for the first time. Brands most people have never heard of, HyperX, SteelSeries, Razer, surge past names that dominated a decade ago. And look at India. A company called Boat, founded in 2016, selling wireless earbuds for under $30, is climbing this chart faster than almost anything you have seen. The volume game has moved to Asia, and it is not coming back. Nothing launches the Ear One, a transparent shell, circuitry visible through the plastic. 100,000 units sold in weeks on pure design excitement. But the real action is below the hype. Xiaomi is now the second largest headphone brand on Earth. Boat is third. Chinese and Indian brands, selling wireless earbuds at prices Western companies cannot touch, are swallowing the global market from the bottom up. Apple still leads by a margin that defies competition, but the podium beneath it has changed nationality, permanently. 4 kings, Koss stumbled into stereo by accident. Bose sold the absence of noise, Beats sold the appearance of cool, Apple sold something stranger, disappearance. The best headphones were never the ones you heard. They were the ones you forgot.